There was no empathy there. But yeah, it was horrible. It was dreadful. And Misfits were very unhappy with how he messaged me because I tweeted out. I tweeted the message out saying, "This is what Keemstar said. This is what's happened," and they were very disappointed. Or maybe it wasn't Misfits, maybe it was the PBA, the Professional Boxing Association. But it was dreadful. It was absolutely dreadful, and it was horrible for my mental health.
Hello there, welcome to another episode of Hop On Comms, the show where we peel back the curtain on the gaming industry and bring you guys up to speed and bring you some fantastic stories at the same time. And a story that I'm looking forward to hearing a lot about today is our next guest's Archie King. Archie, it's great to have you on, buddy. It's good to see you. Thanks for being on the show and for hopping on comms. Arch, I think firstly, how is life, buddy? Like, how is life for you? I mean, it's a crazy world out there, but how's it going?
Yeah, life's good. Life's brilliant, actually. It's very unpredictable. I mean, sometimes I'll just be, streaming from my flat, and the next thing I'm abroad flying to some sort of gaming event, or, everything is just random that happens in this life with this industry, to be honest.
Archie King, firstly, actually surname King. Did there come with a lot of pressure with that? Because the surname Savage, which is mine. I feel like a lot of pressure came with that growing up.
That's actually your surname. I
Yeah,
didn't know. I thought that was like a stage name. No
mate,
way.
so many people do.
Yeah, Adam Savage.
Yeah, actually Savage. So I guess with King, was there kind of high expectations growing up as well with a surname like that?
To live up to it, you know what I mean? But I've always pretty much, smashed everything, always given everything 100%. So
I felt that there was a lot of pressure as well. Like with the surname like Savage, I thought with like gaming name and such as well. When I was growing up, I feel like I had to, because it was Savage. I had to put it in my gaming tag of some sorts. So I think for a long time I was just the Savmeister. Don't know why it was a thing.
yeah.
Growing up for you, when it all started, where did you grow up? What was your first kind of introduction into games?
Yeah, so I grew up in Sevenoaks, Kent, and my first introduction, probably like the PlayStation 1, playing like Spyro. Genuinely, that's so long ago. That's like 15 years ago. But funny story, actually, my brother got a brand new Spyro for Christmas or something, and I used to be a little shit, and he annoyed me, so I went up, I took it out of the PlayStation and bit it in half, so I fully broke his Spyro. So that was that was the first game I ever played, I think, Spyro. Yeah.
So you're talking about living up to the name of Savage. I mean, there's throwing things in the bin, hiding them, but biting the actual game in half is another level.
I was a little rat.
But did you always have that competitive kind of side to you? Obviously, having siblings and stuff as well. Was that always a kind of big part of like gaming growing up?
Yeah, always. Yeah, with that. Well, not even just with gaming. With everything I did, rugby, judo, a bit of boxing, or gaming, or trying to be the best at maths in my school, or sports day. Like I was just always on it, just fully, having the dog in me, trying to be the best.
But you need that tenacity to be successful in the gaming space as well, because for those who don't know Archie, they will now. Fortnite has been your bread and butter for a long time.
Yeah.
What was the introduction into Fortnite as well? Where did that kind of journey begin?
So it was first year of uni, and I met some mates in the gym. We'd all live together, and then like we'd all go home and play Fortnite together. And some nights we stay up to like 3 a.m. This is like prime Fortnite days at uni. We'd stay up till the like early hours and just play Fortnite. And then I think arena mode came out, and it's when arena mode came out and it was competitive that me and my mate, honestly, we were just like, oh yeah, one more game. Let's have one more game till like 6 a.m. sometimes. And every time we will come in from a night out, we just get straight on arena. Like we loved playing Fortnite competitively, because that was the first competitive. Or that was like the first competitive mode you could play without it being a tournament, So you could play it any time of day, and it was so much fun. And then that is basically where it started. So first year at uni, yeah.
Because arena, ultimately, the concept was you're racking up points in the lobbies you're playing, and everyone's kind of an even playing field. I guess this is prior to ranked mode as well. And you're racking up those points. And I mean, did you see yourself quite early on rising the ranks quickly? Did you feel like I'm playing with mates, but I'm actually pretty good at this?
No, no, I was useless. Like my mates were even worse, but like I wasn't good at all. I was not good at all. We would be in like shit points, like we wouldn't have any points, and there'd be like an end game, like everyone boxed up, but like we're playing arena, and we're just like terrified of everyone. Do you know what I mean? Like that's literally how it started out. I wasn't I was never ever meant to be in this job. Like I was never ever any good, really. Like I was a bit good on my keyboard and that, but I wasn't. Yeah, I was nowhere near.
I think as well with the gaming side of things, because I think the world suddenly celebrated the fact there's a one way here that everyone can still connect, and it is courtesy of games. Did you find yourself kind of get leveling up your setup as well? Like you thought, did you start streaming at the kind of when you saw that no one was going out? Did you start playing more games and you thought, oh, I'll just switch on the stream and see what happens?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So instead of going out, I would stream. And basically, well, trying to think about what happened. Yeah, I brought my PC down to uni in the third year because me and my friend loved playing a bit of competitive Fortnite. And then obviously with lockdown, we were like, well, we'll be on it quite a lot. And then basically 2 months into uni, my internet was crap. And it was like proper crap. It was like, so I never did any, I didn't even play Fortnite. Like I was just chilling. My PC was there, but not really doing anything. And like, I was torn between asking my landlord to like get fiber in or not, and I was like, well, I could just, and I was like, oh, go on. And my housemate was like, yeah, just get him to get fiber. So I was like texting, and he did it. 2 days after the fiber got installed was the Nick 30 Cup, which is obviously where I killed Nick and blew up. And like how lucky that is because if the fiber man couldn't make it for another 2 days, or if the land, or if I didn't do that, I literally wouldn't be here either. Do you know what I mean? And it was like I got the fiber installed on the Tuesday, and on the Thursday I played the Nikkei 30 Cup and blew up. Like, and that was that. And then I had 20 average, 30 average viewers, and that was me full time streaming indoors. Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's great. I love it. The Fiber Man. Just that's probably his name tag. Clive, the Fiber guy. Did so okay, so you actually in that moment, so you were streaming to I guess a small number of people, and suddenly that happens and you take out the guy who's put this cup together. Did you know in that moment that you'd done that too? Did it kind of pop up that you'd taken him out?
Yeah, it was deliberate. Yeah, but like from my point of view, and like this was Movember. It was Movember at the time. I had a mustache and a bald head. I just looked like the biggest degenerate ever, and I didn't give a shit either. Like, I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go kill him. I can't kill anyone else. This is in the finals. And yeah, I loved it, mate. I was just like, fuck this guy. Like, who gives a fuck? And then like looking and like I had usually 5 to 10 viewers. And then for the tournament, I had 25 because it was the finals. Like I just was streaming for banter. And then I looked to my left and there's literally, I think, 3,700, 4,000 people there. And it is all just hate ripping the shit out of me. And I was just laughing so much. Yeah.
You embrace the fact that everyone was kind of which is quite kind of a unique attitude to have because I think a lot of people would be like, oh God, I should you were like, bring it on. I'm Archie King, baby.
Yeah, but I'm in my third year of uni just having fun. And I'm just like, look at all these losers online. I didn't care at all. I didn't care at all. But yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, when that happens and you suddenly see because that's quite a lot of pressure as well. You're kind of streaming to a few people, most of which you may even know they're just mates that are tuning in. You suddenly see that amount of people that are fixed on you, that concurrent viewership pops off. Tell me about the rush you felt there, because when you see that live audience, it must have made you it must have galvanized you massively to kind of be more consistent with this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the dopamine from it is crazy. And then what I really enjoyed, so the first thing that I ever enjoyed about the streaming after this event, so I had 20 to 50 viewers, whatever, and I would love just sitting there chatting to people, like, and probably because it was lockdown, like I'd just sit there gaming, look at my left monitor, like chat, just love talking to these people, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is kind of how it was, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I love doing this, and I did it every single day in my third year. Whilst doing a degree. Actually, what I used to do was I'd wake up and I'd be like, right, boys, 11 o'clock every morning, we're live for an hour doing the gym stream. And I had I drove from Exeter to Somerset there was a metal worker, and I basically paid 200 quid for a set of 15 kilo dumbbells and a set of 35 kilo dumbbells. So I had 2 sets of dumbbells in my room. I'd do overhead press, I'd do curls, I'd do whatever I could on stream, playing music with my headphones on, just doing a gym stream every morning. I'd be like, and then I'd end at like midday, or I'd do 10 to 11, end at 11, and then be like, right, boys, I'll be back at 5 o'clock. I've got a load of work to do, and by 2 o'clock, I'd always be back on stream gaming. Like I just did no work. So that was my whole third year pretty much. That was my life.
Wow. So that consistency, because I think a lot of people often look at streaming and how do I become a big streamer? How do I kind of do content creation and blow up? that consistency is a huge factor, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Twitch is like such a weird platform for growth. Like it isn't if I was to tell someone how to blow up now, I'd be like, probably if you wanted to be a Fortnite player, you'd probably stream every tournament, be as good as possible at Fortnite, and then make as much content as possible. Because my job over the last 3 years, I've made my job infinitely harder through not making much content. Like I just sit here and have fun on stream, and then like people, I don't know, word of mouth, or I do good in a tournament or whatever, and I get a bit of hype and my viewers go up. But realistically, it's all about content and consistency with Twitch. Yeah.
Because I've noticed that you're vlogging a lot more now. You're kind of doing a lot more vlog stuff, and you're kind of pushing that out too. Is that kind of a way of you channeling that kind of extra content?
Yeah, yeah. So I enjoyed going on. I went to Thailand for a month, and I enjoyed it so much that I was like, if I could, I've got this vision now where if I could like play FNCS, play the big tournaments, and then you get 3 weeks off and go, right, well, I'm going to go somewhere really nice and vlog for a week, and still earn money, and then come back and vlog my, Fortnite, life, whatever. I feel like that's a good life. I've kind of had this change of direction very recently where I'm like, that would be a great life. That's what I'm doing, yeah. And obviously, they love the behind the scenes. They like my viewers love looking at like what I do off stream, which sometimes is boring, but like so I'll try and make it a bit funner for them. So like today we're gonna vlog. I like showed me doing a podcast. I'm gonna be doing going shopping, hitting the gym. We got a cup later. Talking about, I think today's topic is like living alone and like what I do when I'm on my own board, or just, you know what I mean? But I enjoy this. Like my issue with YouTube has been like everything I've done, I've either paid through the roof for like, 30, 40 quid a video, and you're uploading 12 a month and you're paying 600 quid a month. And I've kind of been like, oh, I don't really want to make Fortnite videos, but and so like it's not sustainable. But now I've found something that I actually enjoy that's sustainable. And if it worked in the long run, I'd be really happy with, like, all right, let's go to Asia for 20 days between FNCS. Let's vlog every day and stream every day, and then come back and pick up where we left off. It's a great life. Whereas just having a big Fortnite channel, I probably would feel very like, oh, I'm so locked into this and I can't get out. And so, yeah.
I think that's a really key reason that I really wanted to chat to you as well on the podcast, is because I think different to other creators, that's right. You do get kind of almost pigeonholed that you have to deliver kind of competitive gaming content 24/7 because people know you for that in many respects. But when you can be true to yourself and say, look, if I can do this as a job, but actually just be me and do what the heck I want, and people still engage, then that's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially because I don't want to be inside full time. Like there are a lot of, gamers who love, sitting at the desk all day or being introverted, and it's not me. And it's actually an issue I've had with my career. It's like, that just ain't me. So I have to do both, which makes my job harder because, if I was really introverted, I could just sit here all day, be really good at sitting here and doing this, and that's my lot. But it's not. I want more.
Because I mean, grind culture, everyone knows now how you have to be, as you mentioned, on every single social platform all the time, constantly churning stuff out. It does get overwhelming. I think and you found that balance. It seems that you can have that happiness. You are you, without having to kind of like, only just follow the trend that everyone else seems to do, which is kind of try just to be relevant consistently. You are, but by being true to yourself.
Yeah, exactly that. And I love that as well. And I actually think that gets me a lot of sponsorship work, because, yeah, I think people see like the authenticity and the honesty, and like I'm quite an open book. I'm very honest about like everything. I'm a bit of a show off as well. Like if I do well, I really show off, but then I also show off when I fail. Like if I take a big L, like I tell it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just, yeah, honest in myself.
When you started getting better competitively with Fortnite too, and you start entering, I guess, cash cups and different kind of opportunities to kind of like enter into competitions, was the financial incentive of like prize money and obviously subscribers and those, is that kind of fueling you as you go as well? Was that kind of ever an incentive of like, okay, there's opportunity here because actually, despite having this a killer maths degree, whatever it might be, this is actually really an opportunity where I can succeed here because of the amount of gain I can make financially.
Yeah, definitely. So in the very early days, I was like, mate, imagine if me and my mate could make 200 quid a week off Fortnite. Like, and we were like, that would pay for so many beers. Like when we go out, and we were never good enough. But like, and then as it got on, I was like, wow, if I could stream full time, I said to my dad, like, if I could have 1,000 subs, that's £2,000 a month, and I can live full time off that. And then I came to do the job, and I realized subs don't even matter really. It's all about connections, sponsorships. Well, it's all about sponsorships, really, isn't it? To make proper money. So yeah, and I actually thought, yeah, I'll finish uni, I'll get really good at Fortnite, I'll make loads of money off the Fortnite, and then I'll make loads of money off it. And the Fortnite bit hasn't happened yet. We got time.
Yeah. So who are some of the sponsors you've worked with as well? Like, kind of who's been, because is it like Boohoo Man? I think is one of
Yeah.
the sponsors you kind of work with, which is I presume sending you clothes and all sorts. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah, they pay me a monthly fee, and then I also have a discount code, and then I can also get clothes when I want, like 10 items a month, something like that. So it's them. I work with PC Specialist, the best PC company in the UK. They're actually fantastic. And the thing is, I actually used them when I was 16 and bought my first computer. I used them, and I was like an annoying 15-year-old. I was messaging them constantly on my emails going, oh, is this a good part? Is this good? I didn't have a clue, and they were so good and so helpful, and I got a good PC at the end. So working with them is crazy. I work with Noise at the moment, which is a streaming platform, and then apart from that, it's more like one-off sponsorship. So I did something with Benson's for Beds, did something for the new Ghostbusters movie. I've worked with Amazon Music. I've worked with, well, I can't even remember, but a crypto gaming company. Just so many like one-off sponsorships. Yeah, which is just mad that people want to work.
What does an email look like when someone wants you to work with the new Ghostbusters film? Like, how does that? What do you kind of get a buzz thinking? Okay, this is mental. Like I'm gonna do anything for Ghostbusters. How did that come about? What does it look like when you get kind of an email like that?
It just says, what does it say? I got an email from Twitch being like, we need someone to be on the front page of Twitch for 2 hours to do this stream. Yeah, it's the new Ghostbusters movie. This is what the movie's about. And I'm just like, wow. Like, that's big, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? They got so many massive actors in it, and I'm here on Twitch advertising their movie. And I actually had to do it from Thailand, because I was like, there's no way I'm saying no to this. I found a gaming cafe in Thailand and just went, and it was like an esports arena gaming place. I did it from there. But it's crazy, isn't it? It's literally crazy. And I did another one for, the horror movie about the hand. Did you know that one? It came out like last year.
Yeah.
It's called.
He's looking to remind himself.
Yeah, Talk to Me.
What's it called?
Talk to Me.
Talk to Me. Okay.
Yeah, and
I remember that. So,
yeah, we had to play a Fortnite map that they'd made. Same thing,
See, that's cool because I like the integration of, like, obviously Fortnite being kind of a game you play so much competitively, and then obviously you've got that too. I think that's one of the great thing about kind of the creative side of things with Fortnite now is that there's able to make these UEFN maps and such experiences, and you can hop in. And I guess, have you been kind of swept up by the kind of creative craze at all?
I haven't. I should have done, to be honest. Like, there are a lot of people like who are making a lot of money off of it. It's kind of my next plan with Fortnite is to, like, I haven't put a lot of effort into Fortnite probably in the last 12 months. I've been kind of cruising along. Being a professional gamer is quite weird. I'm not a professional gamer, but gaming every day is weird, and I've been cruising along. But now it's time to change and kind of dive into that aspect of the creative elements of Fortnite, the UEFN. Like, I know a guy in my chat who's 19 and made a Fortnite map that stayed up for 6 days, and he made 170 grand before he got copyrighted. It was like a Lego map. Do you know what I mean? Like, these kids are making serious money off of it, and it's definitely an avenue that I want to go down. Yeah, my plan is to do these vlogs leading up to the big Fortnite tournaments, vlogging my life and what I do to prepare and, the journey. And then also on the side of that, release maps based around, like, this is the new Fortnite tournament. This is what we've released, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to try it.
It is. And I think for those who are unfamiliar with, I think, how the creative maps work. So as far as I know, because I'm kind of part of the kind of Fortnite infrastructure ecosystem as well, like working on some of the shows with them and things. But I think the way it works is you design a map, and it's about concurrent user base and a time you spend on the map. And then kind of like you kind of get like yourself a kind of a chunk of like I think 40% that Epic Games give back to creators overall.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have
that only up.
Go on, sorry.
Doing that only up map that came out, that was an absolute smash hit.
Yeah, and the guy's making £1 million a month. It's crazy, isn't it? Or whatever it is. Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
There was a guy who made Tilted Zone Wars, like Tilted Towers Zone Wars, and he was constantly on 100K players for probably 2 or 3 months, and it's like 1.5 mil a month, something like that. Like that is crazy, and the geezer's probably 18, sitting there made a Fortnite map. Like
Yeah,
that's such a quick way to get out of to escape. Do you know what I mean? Like you
life
just
changer.
yeah, you just would. I don't even know what we do then. Buy a couple of properties and chill the hell out.
Do you think that for you as well would be kind of something that you obviously, this world in which competitive Fortnite and vlogging and content creation, that kind of opportunity comes along and it starts to grow? Have you really kind of like laid out like a roadmap of things you want to do in the future, kind of goals you set yourself down the line?
Do you know that? Not really. The issue I have with goals, especially with like Twitch and Fortnite, is like it's so difficult to know where I'll be in a year. Like it's so difficult. I can say, oh, I want to have this on YouTube and have that on YouTube, but in actual fact, I'm like, you know what, Arch, just work every day consistently. You get where you get. Do you know what I mean? And I have stressed so much in my time about viewers, followers. Oh my god, how am I doing here? How am I doing there? And it's like, oh, just work the whole time. And in a year's time, you might have blown up like Angry Ginge. You might not have done. Your YouTube might have popped off and got 50K subs, but like putting an actual goal on it or a set, I want this many followers, or I want to make the later rounds of the FNCS, the Fortnite tournament. I just think, oh, it's just work hard and
The, I mean, you mentioned Angry Ginge. The phenomenon's been pretty nuts over the last few months. What do you think it has been about Angry Ginge that has been the factor that's gotten him to the levels that he's reached so quickly?
the fact that his content, when you upload a minute clip of Angry Ginger, it just bans because he's so funny. And then people saw that that was a way they can make money on TikTok. So then you have thousands of kids trying to make money off the creator fund on TikTok using his content, which is just the best free promo you could ever get, really. And then, yeah, he blew up on TikTok. He's got a consistent YouTube grind. He's probably got a content manager, maybe, who just tells him what to do, or maybe he doesn't. That's just games. And then, yeah, he's just blown up TikTok, I guess. Yeah.
But I would put you two you both in the same kind of realm of like, again, I'm using the word authentic. Like there's a thing about Angry Judge, I think doesn't feel forced. It feels like that's just what he is like. There's not kind of, this is me. And I mean, the success of like the Girth and Turf recently has been absolutely crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that like a pro clubs kind of creator
Yeah,
tournament,
the
something like
FIFA
that? And
thing.
it's just banter in it. It's just pure banter, right?
Well, he and young Philly started this club where ultimately they're kind of recruiting other kind of like, YouTubers and whatnot. So, yeah, they're treating it like a club, like, you get fined, you got to give like gifted subs to channels and that kind of stuff. And it's really good. They bring them in the changing rooms. They got like a 5-match trial to get on the team. I mean, the crazy thing recently was with they had like H like on the team and other kind of Pie Face, the other creators. And mate, Wayne Rooney hits them up and is like, I want to play. And they're like, what? And obviously he's a huge Manchester United fan anyway. Can you imagine that when Wayne Rooney comes knocking your door saying, mate, can I play with you, please?
Yeah, mental in it. And I saw the clips. Apparently, did you see the clip of Ginge saying that he made a joke to Rooney about like getting up and being on for 10 o'clock for practice? And then Wayne calls him at 10 o'clock and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been on for 2 hours now. What's the crack? Like, are we practicing?" And it was just a joke or something like that. So like Rooney's getting up in the morning and he said, "I've had to get the missus to take the kids to school because he's on for practice." And then Ginger was like, "Mate, he said he was fucking pissing himself."
That is a mate. I love that. I love Rooney's knocking on doors going, mate, I'm ready. Like, where you been? Where you
Yeah,
been?
yeah, literally,
But
yeah,
it's interesting. I saw a clip as well, like, and the thing is, you're right. With the TikTok culture, people just re-clipping stuff and posting it over and over and over again. And you see like Rooney's like I think one random kind of like I guess streamer in on the team who has kind of always one of Ginger's mates who's obviously done well off the back of all this too. Starts asking questions like, "Oh Wayne, what's your best? What's your favorite goal you ever scored? What's your best goal?" And after a minute or so, he's like, I'm not here for a fucking interview. All right, we're playing FIFA, so shut up. Otherwise I'm leaving in his
yeah,
like
yeah,
thick
yeah,
Scouser accent. And it's just like, and they're all just killing themselves laughing because it's just like, this is one of those moments they'll look back on in 10 years, think, how the hell did we do that?
yeah,
Like,
mental in it.
how is that a thing?
Wayne
But
Rooney, it's crazy.
it's crazy. But it's a nice segue as well to talk about kind of like the influence of like, I guess kind of like the YouTube kind of culture and how it's integrated with like more mainstream talent now. One of those things I know that you're definitely kind of a part of and kind of, I know always kind of looking looking out in that world is the YouTube kind of boxing world has become a thing for you that I've seen so much recently posting about the kind of YouTube boxing because obviously you're trying to get involved yourself. We're so close to being there too. And I want to talk about that. But that craze, I think it will start with KSI and Joe Weller, and it just went crazy. Were you kind of hooked from the get go and kind of watching kind of like the drama unfold?
Not at all. No, I remember them fighting, but I didn't watch it. I think I only got properly involved because when I was started streaming, I thought, you know what, I'd love to do that one day. That would be a brilliant opportunity for my career. Like, I just want to boost my career up. And I did a bit of boxing when I was a kid. And I just thought that would be fantastic. And then I did start following it, watching Salt Pappy and that, but and I do like it, to be fair. But I think now it's getting, I don't know, I think now it's getting a bit stale with more social media influencers being actual boxers. Then it becomes like a boxing event, but it's like a B-Tech boxing event because they're not professionals. Whereas like back in the day when it was KSI and Joe Weller and they were both pretty bad at boxing, it's so entertaining because it's like who can beat who when neither of them have any experience. And that is like where the YouTube boxing came from, and it's changed all it is today.
I think they've definitely elevated boxing as a sport as well. I mean, I know we've got the Anthony Joshuas out there and the Furies and the Deontay Wilders, but like you saw the viewership for these things, which I think I got the feeling, the sense that the boxing world was a little bit hesitant to appreciate at one stage. We're thinking, oh, this is all nonsense. I think a lot of them still do, but I think the money and the viewership is just off the charts, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And the pay-per-views, it's crazy that so many people, like the kids just love it. I guess it's like WWE for the kids, really, isn't it? Except more serious. But yeah, they absolutely love following it. And like being at the press conference and seeing it was just crazy. Seeing all these huge people and Joe Fournier and that. And yeah. For the Misfits one in last May, a year ago now, about. Yeah, so it was just crazy seeing it, and I can see why the kids love watching the stream. And
it's been great. I mean, obviously the big one coming up is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I mean, how the hell did this happen? I have no idea how this has actually become a thing, but it is. There's so many clips online you see of Tyson training versus Jake Paul and the difference to the two. I mean, sure. I mean, we all kind of want to secretly see Mike Tyson kick his ass, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I did read something though, which said like this is just never a fair fight because apparently the cardio of like a 60-year-old is like really, really bad. Like no matter how much training you do, you just cannot get fit. Apparently Mike's going to suffer, but I don't know. I do hope he batters and maybe he has a brilliant first round and knocks him up, but probably not. I think it'll actually be boring. I think it will actually be like, oh, what the hell did we watch that for?
I was going to say, it's like the Mayweather kind of Logan Paul fight, right? It was kind of a bit like, you got Floyd Mayweather, kind of like one of the greatest of all time. And it felt like they were kind of just like dancing around each other, weren't really going for it.
Yeah, and you want to see a proper fight, do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, why did we watch that? Yeah, it was just, and I think it might be the same because Mike Tyson probably can't put a show on because he's so old. Like, or maybe I'm totally wrong, and I hope I'm wrong because I want to see them go at it, obviously. And obviously Jake Paul, I thought when Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury, I thought he was absolutely useless boxing wise. Which is kind of, it gives me a bit of second-hand embarrassment seeing them talk so much shit and then get in the ring and not be very good.
And that for me as well was probably like, and I'll admit it, I paid the per view. I paid for that fight. I watched Tommy and I watched Jake Paul fight because, I'm not gonna lie to you, Archie. I've watched Love Island from time to time. All right, I know who the guy was. Okay, I'll admit it. It's my wife. She's really into it. I just have to do the same. But still. But no, I think that particular fight, because I think everyone was a bit like, obviously Tyson Fury's brother, obviously, but at the same time, like everyone was a bit like, hold on, Jake's got a bit about him. Maybe he can like do something here, and you kind of almost didn't really know which way it was going to swing. But now you see this fight coming up. I think you naturally presume that it's like wrestling. I'm sure the narrative's already been chosen. What's going to happen?
Yeah, but if that's true, then it's such a scam. Do you know what I mean? Like you're making everyone pay for this, and they want to see Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, and it's a scam, isn't it? Like they're just in it for the money. But we're all going to watch it anyway, even if it is a scam. Like we're all watching it, obviously.
But I think even like I cast my mind back to KSI versus Logan Paul, and they had like this draw the first time round, and it's like, did they know this is going to be even bigger? Like it's going to get, if you get two of them, it's double the profits of what it would have been originally. So I don't know. I was a little bit like, was that really a thing? You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But also it's weird that KSI and Logan Paul are business partners and KSI hates Logan's brother. Like Logan Like, that's so weird. Like, it's such a weird setup, but like, I would never do that if someone hated my brother. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's a weird
it
world.
all feels very. Again, I'm going to use wrestling as the analogy there because it kind of feels like it's like an entertainment, like a drama
Yeah.
that you're happy to watch, happen. But it's like there's definitely this doesn't feel like it's completely, real. There's definitely something else to it. But I mean, you yourself, like you posted tons about how you wanted to get into boxing and wanted to be in one of these events, and you did actually sign up to compete in one of them, right?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, so I was always in Keemstar's DMs, being like, "Oh, get me a fight, get me a fight." And about 2 weeks before, it's 17 days before the Misfits '07 KSI with Joe Fournier, it's midnight, and I get a message from Keemstar, and it was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "London." And he was like, "How heavy are you?" And I was like, "230 pounds." Um, and he was like, "Great, you can fight Louis Nestor at Wembley Arena on the 13th of May." And I was just like,
What?
"Oh shit." The worst thing is that at the time I was like 10 kilos heavier, powerlifting, just lifting weights all the time, never done a bit of cardio, like literally never, had never been fit in my life. And I just, when I woke my dad up, I was like, "Dad, listen, mate, this has happened." And he was like, "What are you on about? You can't fight. You're not fit enough. There's no way you're doing it." And I was like, "Mate, I've got to do it." And I told and it was like my dad was actually angry at me because he was like, like, you're an idiot." Do you know what I mean? And he's done 27 amateur boxing fights, so he's like properly into it, or has been into it. And I was like, and I didn't really sleep that night. I woke up at 7 o'clock the next morning and went for a 4 mile run, and it was horrendous. But I told my brother, and my brother was like, "Archie, you're gonna have to do it."
Wow. I mean, Keemstar as well has been in, as far as YouTube goes, has been in a lot of reports and bits and pieces over the time. He kind of did his, he's obviously kind of like a very an internet personality, like a character that you kind of love to hate in some respects. But when he DMs you that kind of middle of the night, you must have been buzzing as well. The fact that that happens, you're thinking, hold on a second, this is talk about the branding and how this is kind of bigger for like the wider world beyond Fortnite. Wembley Arena, by the way, fighting in front of a live crowd, that must have been like super scary, but at the same time, like unbelievably exciting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was so surreal. Like, I just couldn't, get my head around it. Like, I'm gonna go fight this American in Wembley Arena in 2 weeks. I haven't boxed in 10 years. I'm not fit, and I have 2 weeks to prepare. And it was a time where, like, I actually had to like, there are people that would go in and lose and do it for the experience, whatever. But I actually had to look inside myself and be like, I don't know, like, you're the man, Arch. You will do this. And I basically, it was the most painful 2 weeks of my life. Like, wake up in the morning and run 3 miles, and that was at 108 kilo, I think I was, and it was agony. I mean, instant blisters all over my feet. It was horrible, and it was slow. And then in the evening, I'd go boxing. So I trained twice a day. And it got to the point 3 or 4 days in, all I could do all day was just lay down in bed. Like, I couldn't do anything else. And then it would get to the morning, and I'd go, right, headphones in, walk out the gate, music in, 3 mile. And there used to be this, there's a road near my parents' house. We live in the woods, and it's like the biggest hill. And I used to play the Rocky music running up the hill. And I never managed to run up it without stopping. And then one of the last training sessions before the event, I put my music in, and I was like, "There is no way I'm stopping on this hill." And I ran up the whole thing. I know that. I mean, you don't know the hill, but it is a big road. It is horrible. But that was
It's a
my
hill.
training. Yeah, it's a big hill. It actually.
It's a bit, yeah. I mean that. I mean that's. Because I'm interested to know when Keemstar drops you that DM and he's like, "Look, I want you to fight. You're fighting at this person." Is he there saying, "Here's the offer in terms of like, here's what we're going to compensate you for"? Is he saying that the clout alone is going to be one of the reasons you do this? Like, how what is it, like a package deal or something? I don't know how that works.
So I was like, "Yeah, what is the money?" So they offered me $5,000, but
Okay.
I have to pay my medical bills out of that, which was probably $2,000. And then by the time I've sort of sorted my coaches out and got the trains up to London, blah blah, you're earning basically nothing. But he said, in your second fight you'll get 15K. Then if you're a big name, we'll boost it up. So there's me going, wow, I'm never playing Fortnite again. I'll do a bit of streaming and just go fight everyone. And even my dad was like, "This is a great life, because as a professional boxer, you have to fight professionals. You get your head hit quite a lot. It's not healthy. It's bad." if I go make a living fighting YouTubers, mate, like that is great. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's literally like it was so the messages from Keemstar, sorry, were so like like not business like informal. Yeah, just do this, do that. Do you know what I mean? And it was like I actually annoyed him once because I was messaging him too much. Obviously, I'm gassed about the fighting. That to him, he's like this big. And I messaged him like, "Oh, look, I want a load of my mates to come anywhere. I can get like 40 tickets, and I'll sell them." And he said, "Right, I'll let you know." And then about 2 hours later, I said, "Any news?" And he replied something like, "What? Do you know how busy I am? I'm trying to put this whole show on, and I'm so busy. Don't message me unless it's absolutely necessary." Blah 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 blah. And I was just like, "Fucking hell! You've just asked me to fight at Wembley, mate." And he did, mate. He didn't have, he didn't know the size of the gloves. He didn't know the timing for the rounds. He didn't know if it was 2 or 3 minutes. He didn't know fuck all. And I was like, I'm going to fight at Wembley Arena and you know nothing. And then he had a go at me. And I was like, oh, sorry, mate, no problem. You get on with it. And then he kind of was like, sorry, I blew up you there. I'm just so busy. Yeah, that was that.
Mate. That because I think, and yet at the same time you're thinking, okay, I'm investing in things like, not only put myself through kind of hell here, but I'm investing in getting those trainers and doing the diet
Yeah,
bits and this and that.
yeah,
I'm putting a lot of money out here to do this.
yeah.
Whereas for him, he's like, that's $5,000 is nothing. You're like, well, no, it is something.
Yeah, yeah. And also fighting is like, I want to know what's going on. I wanted to know every detail, obviously. And he had none of them. Like literally, he had none of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, but 5K in the yeah, 5K, I was just like, and he promised me, he said, look, if you knock the geezer out, I'll sign you to Happy Punch tomorrow. So I was like, right, okay, well, let's give
Wow.
it a go. Yeah,
So a goal scoring bonus.
yeah, literally. But he was like, I don't think it's possible. This geezer's really tough, and he's from America, and he's trained for ages. So yeah, I mean, the odds were very, very heavily against me.
Were you concerned about him, like who you were fighting? Were you kind of more into like, I know that I know my worth. I know that I can hold my own here, so I don't really care. I'll just do what I do best.
No, I didn't give a shit about the bloke. I was fine. I had a look at him. I had a look at his Instagram, and I was like, this. He's like an Instagram boxer. Everything he does is flashy for Instagram. He, yeah. And I was like, right, brilliant. I was actually so happy. And I found one of his fights on YouTube and I was like, fuck yeah, let me fight this geezer. Like, I'm in no danger here. And I believe, like, truly, I was in no danger. My issue is that boxing takes an unbelievable amount of cardio. And I didn't have time to get the cardio that I needed or the experience, like the sparring experience. That was the issue for me. And it was just that I know I'm going into this, and even though in my head I want to win, and I know that I fought before and I've done this and done that, there is no way you can get fit enough for this fight. So how the hell are you going to do well in it? Do you know what I mean?
So when you got because I remember seeing online that you got some medical news, didn't you? And you were like, you had to pull out of the fight. Walk us through that. Like what happened?
Yeah. So I did 2 weeks of training, and basically the whole time I was managed to do my sparring. I had such a headache from all the training, and I wasn't eating much, and I was suffering so hard. And then 2 days before the fight, I just get this text saying, like, this is from Keemstar, and it says, "I have horrible news. Your MRI didn't pass. You have damage to your brain," and that's it. That's all I get. And it's like,
When we talk about scariest message ever. I mean, that's
it was like it was like my whole. I can't describe the feeling of like just like my whole world was shaking. Like I don't know. It's like getting a message probably saying someone's died. Do you know what I mean? It's just like wow, an instant fear, panic, and like realistically, the hospital should have called me, and I should have been told straight away. And then it's like Keemstar texted me that and then threw his phone in the bin because he didn't reply for about half hour. So I'm sitting there panicking with my parents.
my God.
And
So that could literally have meant anything.
yeah, well, originally I thought it was that I spied my brother and he hit me too hard. I had a bit of a mark on my head and he hit me quite hard, and I must have had a bit of trauma to my brain because I'd had headaches for 2 weeks. I thought, it all makes sense now. And and my dad was like, nah, as a kid. So basically, I had a scan of my nose and they found a little mole on the side of my brain, like a benign little mole. And my parents never told me because they didn't want me worrying about it. But he was like, no, you had something as a kid. It must be that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But what damage? I was like, what damage? Like, he said I've got damage to my brain. And then I finally got hold of him. And once again, he didn't know fuck all. Like, he didn't know. The hospital just said, "Oh, you're gonna have to." He said, "Who did you email to do the medicals?" And I said, "Where's the person from Misfits?" He said, "I'll email her and she'll give you someone to talk to." So he didn't even have the fucking information. He sent me that message. And interestingly, the person he was with at the time, I met out in Thailand. And apparently, when he found out, he was like, Keemstar was freaking out, going, "Jesus, this fighter's gonna die. Like, he's got brain damage, blah 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 blah." Like, but it was not like. Anyway, finally had to email in, and I'm panicking, and I am actually trying to keep myself calm. And I'm thinking, fuck me, is there something seriously wrong with me? Like, do I have a serious, am I going to die? And I managed to get the number of a doctor, typing the number into the phone. I'm like shaking, and I'm like calling. I didn't want to call the doctor because I was terrified of what he had to say. And I mean terrified. And answering the phone, it was like I had to force myself to answer the phone. And it turns out I have a cyst in my brain. Like, it's called an arachnoid cyst. It was nothing to do with the mole. At the back of my brain, back left side, there's like a little sac where my brain hasn't fully developed properly. Like, nothing too serious. Like 1 in 100 people have them, or 1 in 2, or something like that. It's a little cyst filled with fluid. And the reason you can't box is because if you get a hematoma, which is like a bleed in the brain, and it's into the cyst, obviously the cyst gets bigger, it puts pressure in. So that's why you can't box. But yeah, I didn't, do you know what I mean? Like, and then I found out the information, and I actually originally thought that I could still fight. At some point I said, like, if I got it checked by a doctor, could I still fight? Then I did all the tests, and it turns out I can't fight.
Okay, so that's that door closed. But I mean, I get the same time, because I can't even imagine getting news like that from, A, a DM, B, Keemstar in a
Yeah,
DM.
yeah,
so,
yeah.
and you're there thinking, you're gonna think sinister thoughts like, has Keemstar just told me that I'm dying here? I don't know what this is. Kind of like a random text, and how nonchalant he is as well about it too. Not even like, dude, here's your report. Have this. This is something to look at. Just like, you can't fight. You got this. So you're there going, wait a second. So Wembley Arena, A, is gone. B, could be seriously ill. I've lost the money. Like that. That's It just goes to show how inhuman that kind of is in a way. Like, there's no empathy there.
Yeah, there was no empathy there. But yeah, it was horrible. It was dreadful. And Misfits were very unhappy with how he messaged me, because I tweeted out. I tweeted the message out saying, "This is what Keemstar said. This is what's happened," and they were very disappointed. Or maybe it wasn't Misfits. Maybe it was the PBA, the Professional Boxing Association. But it was dreadful. It was absolutely dreadful, and it was horrible for my mental health. I actually felt like a box of meat after that. I just felt like a weird box of meat, like in my head. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sad about it now. I don't care, but at the time, it was a very strange feeling. And then I had to, like, obviously I took a $2,000 loss on the medical bills, and I took a loss on all the training, and I was like, well, that's all the content gone. That's everything I've spent the last it's only 2 weeks that I spent, but it was the longest 2 weeks of my life. And I just did everything to basically go like, this is my chance to blow up. And it was just gone like that, just gone. Yeah, it was crazy.
That is crazy. But I guess, I mean, as a person who tries to be optimistic, kind of like every cloud, at least you knew something about yourself that you wouldn't have known had you not gone through this process. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess that's the one thing to take away from it. But yeah, I guess it's like being a gamer, in it? In some ways, you have a life where you play games. Someone suddenly says to you, you can't play games anymore. That's not a thing you can do. You'd be like, what do I do? Like, if you're a boxer in the same, I can totally see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but it's my career ended at 0-0 boxer. So,
but in that situation, your brother stepped in and fought instead, did he?
yeah, so I basically called him up, and he was on his way home from Brick Lane, and I was like, "Cal, this is what's happened." I started crying down the phone. It's on the documentary we made, but I started crying down the phone. I was like, "Cal, will you take the fight for me?" And he was like, "Of course I'll take the fight for you, Arch." And literally, mate, and it makes me emotional now. But he's like, "Of course I'll take the fight for you, Arch." And then literally come home, put his gloves on that he hadn't had on in 10 years, like literally started hitting the pads. And Keemstar was like, "Fuck it, get his brother to fight." That's on the Wednesday night. This is late Wednesday night. Thursday morning, he's up straight to the medical, so London hospital, brain scan, this scan, that scan, doctor medical, this, that, and then straight from there, straight into the straight into the press conference. So he storms into the press conference shouting at Louis, and it's a big thing, and it was great. Keemstar loved it. And then on the Friday, he was straight back up to London to weigh in. So we had to go straight back to London for the weigh in. And then Friday night, he didn't get any sparring practice, none, and he just went in and did it. And it was like when he stood on canvas in Wembley Arena, that's the first time he stood on a boxing canvas in 10 years, literally. So that's what he went and did, and he didn't do too bad. He lost 2 rounds to 1. Like, it's 3 rounds. He won one of the rounds. He lost the other 2. Do you know what I mean? He actually did all right.
You must have been, oh man, you must have been in this crazy position where you're like, I'm obviously devastated that I can't be up there doing what what plan to do this. This is the moment that I kind of envisaged would happen. But at the same time, you're there thinking, my brother did this for me. He stepped in that ring for me, like in front of a bullet almost, and just said, "I'm doing it for you, Arch." Without that training, which would make most people really nervous, obviously, inevitably, understandably. And he did that for him, and that must have been, you must have been emotionally, that must have been such a difficult place for you to be.
I felt so guilty afterwards because his nose was a bit bloody and banged up, and he was obviously, and I felt really guilty, but he was just like, fuck it. We actually cried at the part. It was really, really, really emotional. Like, and even as a bloke, I'm not like, I would never cry, but I fucking cried. Like, it was like my brother has just gone into Wembley Arena, fought this American, and mate, and do you know what? His wife was chatting a lot of shit on the timeline afterwards. Like, you boys grew up boxing and you didn't beat my husband. And I'm just like, watching him, just like, shut up. Like, just shut up. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, look at what this man has done, my brother. Like, it was just incredible.
Wow. What's his memories of it as well? Like, does he look back at it fondly? Is he kind of like, oh, it was a great experience? Is he kind of like, has it brought you guys closer together? Like, how does he kind of see it?
Yeah, it definitely brought us closer together. But we were very close anyway. He has said it changed his life because now when he has to do something difficult, he's like, well, Wembley on 2 days' notice. So if I can do that, he's literally like, if I can do that, I can do this. So for example, now he had to go to Florida last year for 3 months to do acting and be away from home. And he said, well, he was like, if I could go and fight at Wembley on 2 days' notice, I can go to Florida for 3.5 months, leave my girlfriend at home and go work. And like, stuff like that. And same
Yeah.
again, he's in Chicago now acting for 4 months. So he'll be back middle of July. So he's just, so it has changed his life. And do you know what? It's actually changed my life because I kept the running up after that. I started jujitsu. We can talk about this later or whatever, but like it has literally changed my life. I would probably still be 10 kilos heavier now and lifting weights, whereas the feeling of being a bit fitter is unbelievable.
That's all. That's amazing. As I said, like, the pint's half, the glass is half full. There's kind of other things to, I guess, look at and take. I guess that's one of the things I think in this kind of business anyway, that because we've had other episodes where we talk about gaming and kind of like it's this constant having to adapt or roll with the punches, for use of a better kind of analogy there. But, I think that's the one thing you have to do is kind of you have to find ways to kind of move forward when the chips are down. How do you move? How do you bounce back? What do you do differently? And the fact that you had all that chucked to you, and bear in mind, this is a 2-week period, like a fortnight. This is a fortnight. I mean, look at that. If there's ever a pun, it was fortnight.
Yeah,
A fortnight, yeah.
yeah, it was, yeah,
Like the craziest
mental,
fortnight ever.
literally.
But I can imagine that's kind of really changed your life and things. And since then as well, obviously you've got this new kind of, I guess, new wave of like, wanting to keep the fitness up, and you're kind of competing again. Your FNCS didn't go so well necessarily this season, but you're back to competing in kind of cash cups and all sorts, I guess, as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just that's what I'm saying when earlier I said things are so spontaneous. Like, it is literally a crazy life. Like, to think all that happened and then it didn't happen, and then and then about a month later I moved out into this flat I'm in, and then I started running again. I got into good shape. I changed my life. I've kept working, traveled. I then did actually qualify for FNCS Grand Finals in August last year, which is like the biggest tournament ever. Just like, and then back to like going abroad or doing this crazy life, literally.
It's incredible. And the last thing I want to ask you, Archie, because the story's been outstanding. Top 3 games of all time. Just throw them at me. We've
All
talked about
time.
Fortnite of all time. The top 3
Okay.
games for Archie King. What are the top 3?
The top 3 all time: Modern Warfare 2, like quick scopes, no scopes, playing high rise, you know, with the boys, search and destroy. That, Fortnite, and then it's probably got to be Minecraft. Like building shit is so fun. Is it a good answer or not?
Mate, Minecraft's like the biggest game in the world. You can definitely say
Yeah,
that. But I love this thing, especially of just building shit. Just cut. What can you not love? It's amazing.
yeah.
Arch, mate, thanks so much for being on Hop on Comms, man. I've loved this. And where can everyone find you online? You know, whether it be Twitch, YouTube, where are you on socials?
Yeah, Archie on Twitch and Arch himself on Twitter. And then you can find me everywhere from that. Sorted.
Definitely will. Mate, inspiring, man. And I can't wait to see what happens next in the wonderful world of Archie King. It's all to play for out there.
Yeah,
we need a Rocky 3. We've had a 1 and 2. We need a Rocky 3. What's going to be in the third chapter of your story? I can't wait.
we will see.
But we'll see. Thanks, buddy. Take it easy, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. And we'll see you very, very soon.